Have you ever gone to bed feeling totally fine, only to wake up the next morning with something terribly wrong? Maybe it was a sudden weakness in your arm, a slurred word that just wouldn't come out right. Or worse, a rush to the ER with the terrifying news that you just had a stroke. As a brain doctor, I've seen this more times than I care to admit. Good people, people who think they're doing everything right, suddenly facing the biggest health scare of their lives. And you know what's shocking? In more cases than I ever expected, there was one common thread. Not stress, not high blood pressure, but something so innocent, most people wouldn't even think twice about it. Fruit. Yes, fruit. Now, before you raise your eyebrows and click away, hear me out. I'm not saying all fruit is bad. Not at all. But certain fruits, when eaten the wrong way at the wrong time, and especially as we get older, can increase your risk of stroke overnight. In fact, just last year, I treated a 67-year-old woman, let's call her Mary, who came into the hospital with sudden facial drooping and difficulty speaking. We quickly confirmed she had suffered a minor stroke. Luckily, she got help in time and recovered well. But what stunned me was her lifestyle. Non-smoker. No history of high blood pressure. No major red flags, until we looked closer at her diet. Every night, like clockwork, she would have a bowl of fruit before bed, believing it was the healthiest thing she could do. And the main ingredient in that bowl? Bananas. Another case. A gentleman in his early 70s, very active, did Tai Chi every morning, drank plenty of water, and watched his salt. But he also had one habit he swore by: pineapple smoothies before bed. And within months, he landed in our ward with his second mini-stroke. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, bananas? Pineapple? Aren't those supposed to be healthy? That's the twist. We've been told for years, especially as we age, to eat more fruit. It's natural, it's full of vitamins, and it seems like a much better choice than cookies or chips. And in many ways, that's true. But here's what they don't tell you. Certain fruits, especially when eaten in the evening, can quietly raise your risk of inflammation, blood sugar spikes, dehydration, and yes, stroke. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 surprising fruits that can increase stroke risk, especially in people over 60. And more importantly, I'll share what to do instead, because giving up fruit entirely isn't the answer. In fact, stay with me till the end, because I'll share what I call the brain-safe fruit formula. A simple method to enjoy fruit without putting your brain at risk. This is the same approach I recommend to my own patients, and it can make a world of difference. So let's start with one of the most beloved and misunderstood fruits out there, bananas. According to a study published by the Mayo Clinic, bananas are rich in potassium, which helps control blood pressure. A great thing, right? Yes, in moderation and when balanced correctly. But here's the catch. Bananas are also high in natural sugars and a compound called tyramine. Tyramine can affect blood vessel function and blood pressure in sensitive individuals, especially when combined with certain medications or eaten in excess. Do you know that sudden spikes in blood sugar, especially in older adults with reduced insulin sensitivity, can lead to vascular stress, a key trigger for both strokes and mini-strokes? Bananas have a glycemic index that's moderate to high depending on ripeness, meaning if you eat a very ripe banana at night, especially on an empty stomach, it can spike your blood sugar while you sleep. Worse, most people eat bananas alone, without any protein or fat to slow the sugar absorption. That creates the perfect storm: a sugar surge, followed by a crash and increased pressure on your cardiovascular system overnight. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying bananas are poison, but timing and pairing matter. If you're someone over 60 who eats bananas in the evening, especially close to bedtime, that could be a red flag, especially if you also take blood pressure medication or have a history of insulin resistance. That one banana, eaten at the wrong time, could quietly be increasing your risk. And it's not just bananas. There are 4 more fruits I want to tell you about that have similar risks, some even worse. But before we move on, I want to plant this thought in your mind. Just because something is natural doesn't mean it's always safe for your brain, especially as your body changes with age. Many of the healthy eating habits we grew up with were designed for younger bodies with faster metabolisms and stronger organs. But after 60, everything changes: your digestion, your insulin response, your hydration levels. That's why it's time to look at your fruit habits through a new lens, not with fear, but with awareness. Stick with me, because understanding this could help you not just prevent stroke, but also improve your memory, sleep better, and feel more energetic during the day. All by making small shifts with the fruits you eat. So we've talked about bananas, delicious, convenient, but potentially risky if eaten the wrong way. Now let's keep going, because the next fruit is one you'll often find in heart-healthy snack boxes. But it's hiding a huge sugar secret that could be putting your brain at serious risk. That fruit hiding in so many so-called healthy snack boxes? It's grapes. Tiny, juicy, sweet, and incredibly deceptive. Most people pop them like candy thinking, well, it's fruit. It's got to be good for me. But here's what many people don't realize. Grapes are loaded with natural sugar, and they raise your blood sugar levels fast. Even faster than a donut in some cases. According to a study published in the journal Diabetes Care by the American Diabetes Association, grapes have a high glycemic load, especially when eaten in large amounts. That means they can cause a rapid spike in blood glucose, followed by a crash. For older adults, particularly those over 60, this spike-crash cycle is dangerous. It increases inflammation, triggers oxidative stress, and puts more pressure on your blood vessels. All of these factors contribute to a higher stroke risk. I had one patient, we'll call him David, who was trying to lose weight and manage his blood sugar without meds. So he swapped cookies for grapes. A whole bowl of them, every night while watching TV. He was proud of himself, and I get it, it felt like a smart trade. But when we checked his blood sugar trends and his morning blood pressure spikes, things didn't line up. It turns out that eating a large amount of grapes in the evening, especially alone, was spiking his blood sugar and triggering nocturnal hypertension. Yes, that's a real thing. Your blood pressure can rise while you sleep, especially if your insulin and cortisol levels are bouncing all over the place. And over time, that silent stress damages the delicate vessels in your brain. The Cleveland Clinic has warned that blood sugar imbalances can cause microvascular damage, which increases the likelihood of transient ischemic attacks, or mini-strokes, that often go unnoticed until a major stroke hits. And if you're thinking, well, I only eat the green ones, or I just have raisins, let me stop you right there. Dried grapes, aka raisins, are even worse. They're concentrated sugar bombs. One small box of raisins has the sugar equivalent of a can of soda. So if you're trying to protect your heart and brain, be very careful with grapes, especially at night. Now let's move on to another fruit that many people think is exotic and nutrient-rich, and it is in many ways. But it's also hiding a dangerous secret when it comes to brain health and stroke risk. I'm talking about pineapple. Pineapple is rich in bromelain, an enzyme that helps with digestion and inflammation, in theory. But recent findings from the National Institutes of Health, NIH, show that bromelain can also thin the blood and potentially interfere with blood clotting when consumed in large quantities, especially late in the day. And for people already on blood thinners, or with even slightly unstable blood pressure, this can be a risky combo. Add to that the high acidity of pineapple, and you've got a recipe for vascular irritation, especially in the sensitive arteries of the neck and brain. When you eat pineapple in the evening, your digestive system slows down. You're not as active, your liver is resting, and your blood flow naturally reduces. Introducing a sharp acid like pineapple, combined with a rush of fruit sugar, can create nighttime inflammation, the kind you never feel until it's too late. One study published in Stroke, a journal of the American Heart Association, highlighted that inflammation plays a major role in triggering strokes, especially in people over 60. It's not just about cholesterol anymore. It's about what your blood vessels are exposed to during rest. And pineapple, especially when blended into a late-night smoothie or eaten as a dessert, can silently contribute to that problem. I had a lovely patient named Susan. She was 72, active, took yoga, and loved her tropical fruits. Every evening, she'd unwind with a pineapple and mango smoothie. Delicious? Absolutely. But within a year, she experienced 2 minor strokes. Her doctor couldn't figure out the cause. Her cholesterol was fine, her blood pressure stable. But her CRP levels, a marker of inflammation, were consistently high. When we adjusted her diet and removed acidic fruits at night, her numbers stabilized, and she hasn't had an episode since. The point here isn't to scare you away from grapes or pineapple. It's to reframe the way we think about fruit. Not all fruits are created equal. Some are gentle on your brain and heart. Others, though natural, can trigger a cascade of hidden reactions that build up quietly over time. Especially when eaten in the evening, when your body is in rest mode and your brain is vulnerable. So let's pause and reflect for a moment. Do you eat grapes at night? Do you blend up a pineapple smoothie to wind down? These choices feel healthy, but they may be raising your stroke risk without you knowing. The good news? These habits are easy to tweak. But first, we need to understand the next two fruits that are quietly contributing to nighttime blood pressure spikes, drug interactions, and even dehydration, all of which put your brain at serious risk. And one of them? It's something most people associate with vitamin C and cold prevention, a fruit that's likely sitting in your fridge right now. Let's keep going, because the next fruit we need to talk about is one that just about everyone thinks is safe, especially when cold season rolls around. We're talking about oranges and their cousins, mandarins, tangerines, and other citrus fruits. They've got that sunny reputation, right? Packed with vitamin C, refreshing, hydrating. But here's something many people don't realize. Citrus fruits can dangerously interact with common medications, especially heart medications and blood pressure drugs. According to the FDA, U.S. Food and Drug Administration, citrus, especially grapefruit and in some cases orange juice, can block an enzyme in your intestines called CYP3A4. This enzyme normally helps break down many medications. When it's blocked, your body ends up absorbing too much of the drug, which can lead to dangerously low blood pressure, irregular heartbeat, or worse, a sudden drop in blood flow to the brain. You might be surprised to know that even some sweet oranges and tangerines can have similar effects, especially if you drink them as juice, where all the fiber is removed and the absorption happens fast. I once had a patient named Fuang, 69 years old, who was managing her high blood pressure with a low dose of amlodipine. She also loved starting her mornings with a tall glass of fresh squeezed orange juice. She thought it was the perfect healthy habit, but she started noticing dizzy spells, ringing in her ears, and lightheadedness after getting out of bed. After digging into her diet and routine, we discovered that the citrus juice was interfering with how her body processed the medication, amplifying the drug's effects without her realizing it. Once she switched to a different morning routine and avoided citrus in the early hours, those symptoms went away completely. Johns Hopkins Medicine has warned that as we age, drug metabolism slows down naturally. So any interference from food becomes even more dangerous. And most seniors are taking multiple medications. One wrong combo, even with healthy food like oranges, can lead to serious consequences like a sudden drop in cerebral blood flow. Yes, a stroke. And here's the thing, it's not always immediate. Sometimes it's the buildup. The daily habit of eating an orange or drinking juice before taking medication may seem harmless, but over time, it quietly increases your risk. Now, let's talk about the fifth fruit on this list, and it's one that's especially popular during hot weather, watermelon. Sounds harmless, right? Cold, juicy, full of water. What's the problem? Well, according to a 2022 study published by the National Institute on Aging, watermelon is high in fructose, which can raise blood sugar quickly, just like grapes. But even more importantly, watermelon has mild diuretic properties, meaning it makes your body lose water without you even realizing it. That might not seem like a big deal, but remember this. Dehydration is a major stroke risk factor, especially at night. You see, your body naturally loses water while you sleep, through breathing, through urine, through sweat. If you eat a big serving of watermelon in the evening, it may make you feel full and refreshed, but by the middle of the night, your body could actually be losing even more fluids. And when you're dehydrated, your blood thickens, circulation slows, and clot risk increases. I saw this firsthand with an older gentleman in his early 70s. He was doing his best to stay healthy and loved having a big bowl of watermelon after dinner. He was also taking a diuretic for mild heart failure. One night, he woke up feeling lightheaded, then passed out. We found out he was severely dehydrated, and his blood pressure had crashed. His stroke wasn't massive, thankfully, but it was enough to cause issues with balance and speech for months afterward. The American Stroke Association notes that even mild dehydration in older adults can lead to reduced cerebral perfusion, which basically means your brain isn't getting enough blood. That's all it takes for a mini stroke to occur, and in some cases, a full-blown one. And here's where it gets even more dangerous. Most people don't eat just one kind of fruit. It's often a mix. A fruit salad with grapes, watermelon, maybe a few pineapple chunks and orange slices. Or a smoothie with banana, citrus, and frozen grapes. And when this all happens at the worst possible time, before bed, it puts the brain under stress at its most vulnerable moment. Now, let's talk about something else that makes these risks even worse: timing and habit. You might be surprised how often I hear this. I eat fruit before bed because it's light. I drink juice in the morning on an empty stomach, just to wake up. I snack on fruit while watching TV at night. It's better than cookies. I get it. These habits feel healthy. But here's the hidden danger. Eating fruit before bed gives your body a sugar surge when it's supposed to be resting and repairing. This late-night glucose rush increases insulin, interferes with your sleep cycles, and raises nighttime blood pressure, a huge stroke trigger in older adults. And fruit juice on an empty stomach? That's another trap. Without fiber, the sugar hits your bloodstream like a freight train, causing a spike, then a crash. According to Harvard Health Publishing, this type of blood sugar fluctuation is strongly linked to inflammation and poor vascular function, two key players in age-related strokes. And here's something else. When you eat fruit alone, without any healthy fats or proteins, the sugar absorbs even faster. It's like lighting a match in dry grass. No buffer, no slowdown. So if you've been sipping on orange juice in the morning, or having watermelon after dinner, or thinking a banana is the perfect bedtime snack, I want to gently challenge that idea. Because the truth is, your brain needs stability, not sugar spikes. It needs steady hydration, not silent dehydration. And it needs rest without your blood vessels fighting a late-night battle against inflammation and pressure. But here's the best part. You don't have to give up fruit. You just have to know which ones to eat, how to eat them, and when. That's what we're going to cover next, the brain-safe fruit plan. A way for you to still enjoy sweet, delicious fruits, while protecting your brain and reducing stroke risk. If you've made it this far, first of all, thank you. I know some of what we've talked about might sound surprising, even a little unsettling. But here's the truth. The goal of this video isn't to scare you away from fruit. It's to help you take back control, so you can enjoy fruit without fear, and give your brain exactly what it needs to stay sharp, safe, and strong as you age. So let me be clear. You do not need to give up fruit. What you need is a better strategy. And that's what I call the brain-safe fruit plan. It's simple, it's practical, and you can start using it today. Let's begin with the most important shift. Choose the right fruits, the ones that support your brain and blood vessels, instead of stressing them out. According to Harvard Medical School and research published in the journal Neurology, one of the best fruit groups for brain health is berries, especially blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries. These are loaded with anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that protect your brain cells, reduce inflammation, and improve blood flow to the brain. A 20-year study by Brigham and Women's Hospital and Harvard found that older adults who ate berries a few times a week delayed cognitive decline by up to 2.5 years. That's huge. Next on the list? Green apples. Unlike their red cousins, green apples are lower in sugar, higher in fiber, and loaded with quercetin, a compound that's been shown to support healthy blood pressure and brain function. Plus, that crisp, slightly sour taste? It actually helps regulate blood sugar better than overly sweet fruits. Another winner? Avocados. Yep, it's a fruit. And while it's not sweet, it's packed with monounsaturated fats that help maintain flexible blood vessels and reduce brain fog. According to a report from UCLA, avocados improve blood flow and support neurovascular health, especially important as we age. And don't forget kiwi. This little green powerhouse is rich in vitamin C, fiber, and serotonin precursors that may help with mood and sleep quality, a major bonus for brain function. Plus, it's lower in sugar than most tropical fruits and gentle on blood sugar levels. Now, here's where the plan comes together. It's not just about what you eat, but also how and when. Rule number 1. Always pair fruit with fat or protein. Why? Because it slows down the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream, keeping your energy steady and protecting your blood vessels. For example, berries with a handful of almonds, a sliced green apple with a tablespoon of peanut butter, kiwi with Greek yogurt, or avocado with a boiled egg or some cottage cheese. These combos taste amazing and help your body absorb nutrients more efficiently, without causing a sugar crash or blood pressure swing. Rule number 2, be smart about timing. Here's a simple rhythm. Morning is your best time for fruit. Your metabolism is active, your insulin sensitivity is better, and your body is primed to handle natural sugars. Midday is okay, especially if you're active or eating it as part of lunch. But avoid fruit at night, especially after 7 p.m. That's when your digestion slows down and your blood vessels are trying to relax, not handle a flood of sugar or acidity. Rule number 3, ditch the juice, keep the fiber. Juicing removes the most important part of fruit, the fiber. That fiber is what keeps your blood sugar stable and slows digestion. Without it, even a healthy juice becomes a sugar bomb. If you love oranges, try eating a few wedges in the morning, paired with a boiled egg or some oats. If you love grapes, count out a small portion and pair it with cheese or nuts in the early afternoon, not at night in front of the TV. And if you're craving something cold and juicy on a hot day, try infusing your water with sliced cucumber, mint, or frozen berries. It gives you flavor without flooding your system with sugar. Now, let's address one last thing, hydration. As we said earlier, dehydration is one of the most overlooked stroke risks in older adults. That's why part of the BrainSafe Fruit Plan is simply drink more water. Don't rely on fruit for your hydration, especially not watermelon or citrus juices. Keep a water bottle nearby. Add a pinch of sea salt or a splash of lemon if needed to keep electrolytes balanced. And aim to drink throughout the day, not just all at once. So let's put it all together. If you're over 60 and want to enjoy fruit without increasing your stroke risk, choose low sugar, high antioxidant fruits like berries, green apples, avocado, and kiwi. Eat them with healthy fat or protein to slow sugar absorption. Enjoy them in the morning or early afternoon, not at night. Skip the juice. Keep the fiber. And stay hydrated all day long. Small changes, simple shifts in timing, pairing, and portions can completely change the way your brain and body respond to food. And here's the best part. You'll feel the difference. Better sleep, steadier energy, sharper memory, and best of all, a lower risk of stroke, heart issues, and age-related brain fog. If this video helped you, I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment below. What's one fruit habit you're going to change starting today? And if you've got a tip of your own, share it with the community. We learn best when we learn from each other. Don't forget to like this video if you found it useful. It helps us reach more amazing people like you. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video on living smarter, healthier, and happier after 60. You deserve to enjoy every bite of life without fear. And that includes fruit. Here's to your brain, your heart, and your health. Stay well, and I'll see you in the next one.